Now, over the next couple of months, we're going to be witnessing a lot of announcements by Disney and Lucasfilm when it comes to the upcoming Star Wars TV shows, and yes, even, of course, other projects like the films, etc., that's really going to set up this roadmap of the Star Wars franchise at the helm from John, George, and Dave. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future Star Wars updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the kind and great support. Now that brings us to the main subject today of exactly what's going on with a specific character-driven show, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and exactly how it is going to be revived, it is going to continue, it is happening, it is going to expand, but not in the way that you think. So, technically, yes, it is going to be considered a Season 2, but at the same exact time, it will not be. Let's elaborate on that in a second. Now, we talked about this before in the past of how they are creating a soft reboot of the Kenobi series, and a lot of this has to do with the fact that they are very unhappy with the poor reception that they got with the Kenobi show, and rewatch value is completely down. Now, if you think to yourself, right, comparing everything to the movies and such, how many times did you go back and watch the Kenobi series from episode 1 to the last one? It's a big question. I'm really interested to see what you guys have to say. And we ran a poll on my Twitter a couple of weeks back, and most people said that they did not even rewatch it at all, which really is not a good sign. And that's exactly why Disney is rethinking their marketing strategy with the Kenobi character. So that brings us to the soft reboot and exactly what's happening with all of this, exactly what's in store for this actual new project that is actually aimed to be released in the very near future. So, with, of course, both Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni getting ready to develop new Star Wars TV shows for the fandom. However, as of now, Jon and Dave are working on and developing an Obi-Wan Kenobi soft reboot that will be considered a sequel to Season 1, however not referencing its past events to actually start fresh and new for the fans. The goal by Disney and the board is to give the Kenobi series a clean slate and to have proper creators take control of such a valuable character. A third sequel is also in the cards in order to fulfill the original plans of the Kenobi trilogy that got cancelled before it turned into a show. Now, both Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen have been contacted to reprise their roles as Anakin and Kenobi, and even Samuel L. Jackson to return as the survival of Mace Windu with a brand new design. Jon and Dave are recovering concept art and storyboards that will be finalized to be used in the Kenobi sequel, which they have a goal in mind to release sometime by 2025, during the holiday season, and to begin work on the show by 2024. So, before I get to the next big thing about all of this, let's just, go over something really important, is that Jon and Dave, what they're doing is something very special. They're really picking up on Stuart Beatty's concept art and storyboards for the Kenobi trilogy that never got to see the light of day, that was shot down by Kathleen Kennedy, unfortunately, and how a lot of that art and a lot of that illustration, progress is going to be picked up by Favreau and Filoni and transferred to the Kenobi soft reboot. And that's a big deal because I like how they're resurrecting a lot of creative avenues from the original Kenobi trilogy that was supposed to go into theaters. Now, if you guys did not know, the main reason why Kennedy pulled the plug on the Kenobi project from being a trilogy, eventually getting reduced down to a single film, and then getting reduced down to an actual series that was supposed to be 12 episodes, then it got reduced down to 6. It just goes to show you that they really made the Kenobi project a little underwhelming. Now, I will admit, the Kenobi series, without a doubt, has amazing moments in there. I like to compare it to the sequel trilogy. It's not great through and through, from start to finish, but it has great moments in there. It has its little key scenes. A great example, Vader getting built, Vader getting put together piece by piece, or Vader setting Kenobi on fire. Stuff like that really stands out to me as a fan. However, what Jon and Dave want to do is that they want to make this new soft reboot satisfying from start to finish without having to rely on highlights, right? That's what they want to do. So, moving to the next thing here, Mace Windu was supposed to show up in the Kenobi trilogy, believe it or not, and will now be inserted into the Obi-Wan Kenobi sequel for the fans to see Mace Windu's new look. Flashbacks of Mace Windu's survival are set to be used in the soft reboot, as some concept art was created for the trilogy that will be reformed for the TV show's soft reboot that involved explaining how Mace Windu survived the fall during Episode 3. Kathleen Kennedy will not be involved in this project at all whatsoever, and Deborah Chow and Joby Harrell will not be returning as creators. However, the upside, Stuart Beattie, the original writer, is set to actually return to work hand in hand with Favreau and Filoni as the main writer, with Favreau and Filoni being co-writers. So this is something that we should have done in the very first season. It should have been like this right from the get-go. Again, the Kenobi writer for Season 1, Joby Harold, openly stated and was very honest, said that he never watched the prequels from start to finish, let alone Revenge of the Sith. And it just makes your mind go blank, wondering to yourself, why would Kathleen Kennedy choose a creator like that? Well, it's pretty apparent because she does not care about value when it comes to these actual projects, at least when it's about characters that the fans love and cherish, right? So it's great news that they are picking up on all of this. We're going to be hearing more about this later in 2023 this year, and they are trying to get this thing to begin development by 2024 when it comes to principal photography and filming the thing by, of course, later that year. Right now, it's in the early development phase. They're really kind of creating a script, getting story ideas ready, resurrecting old concepts and illustrations from the Kenobi trilogy and how that's going to work. And so that really does kind of stand out. The fact that they are creating a sequel, they are going to consider it a soft reboot, and that's another thing to be aware of, is the fact that both Ewan and Hayden are coming back. They are setting up another Vader and Kenobi duel before they take a full break until they meet each other again in Star Wars: A New Hope. And I think that was one complaint that a lot of fans had, was how some fans did not like how Kenobi and Vader actually met again in between 3 and 4. I, however, did not have a big issue with that. But it was nice to see both Vader and Kenobi have a duel one-on-one on the Mustafar moon that you got to see in the very end of the series. So, again, like I say, they're really trying to play their cards right here. Is this maybe damage control? Is it desperation? Is it panic through Disney? Who knows? But regardless, if Favreau and Filoni are involved, if Stuart Beattie's involved, I think it's going to be fantastic. It's going to be great. And what's not to like about Mace Windu coming back? This was supposed to happen in the Kenobi trilogy. The storyboards are there, the illustrations are in there, description-wise, and they will be taking a lot of that and throwing it into that soft reboot. So overall, guys, I would like to hear what each and every one of you guys have to say about this below in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to moon, we hear them moans again. No.